Okay, so welcome back to part 3 of the Alpha Models Mazda RX7 feed. So picking up where we left off last time, I have got all the hubs and the wheels here, and I'm just test fitting them for their fit. Now these ones screwing, which is, well, I've not seen this before, so being very careful drilling the holes. One thing you need to be careful of is that you don't drill through the body, so make sure you don't drill too deep. I've got the appropriate size drill bit, which I think it's a 1.8mm for this one. Each Alpha Models kit has different size screws, so check on each one. And like I say, for whatever you do, do not drill through the body all the way. So the battery powered drill on my Herzo is perfect for this. Drill all out, clear the holes out, get all the resin dust off and out of the way. And I would recommend putting a dust mask on as well. Now, I did put the screw in, and while it did hold it, it didn't have quite the purchase that I wanted. So I thought, you know what, we'll add a little bit of CA glue underneath, then screw it down, and belt and braces, we've got it where we want. So I've screwed it in place and then straightened the axle up to the right angle, and then the glue will grab that and it'll all sit perfect. So everything's been test fitted. Do not glue or screw anything in place till you've test fitted everything. So as you can see here, I've got the wheels and I'm just test fitting that they sit in the arches properly at the right ride height, and they all look good. We can then get the intercooler in at the front, which has been painted black with the PE inside as well. So a little bit of CA glue, and again, test fit. I repeat, do not glue anything in place on these kits without test fitting it first, and make sure other parts around it also fit in place. Getting CA glued resin apart can be a bit catastrophic sometimes. Now I've screwed the chassis in place. I actually lost the footage. Well, I don't think I clicked record, if I'm honest. So the interior is in there, and I kind of, idiotically missed me getting it in. But you got most of it in with the dashboard and the rear parts shelf and the door card. So it's literally a case of slotting in the chassis itself, drilling out the holes like we did with the wheel hubs, screwing it in place, which did fit a lot better on this. And I'm just attaching all the carboned aero trim now. So we've got the front splitter on, the side skirt, and that little rear valance on the back as well, which are all looking good. They all fit in place perfectly. And then prepping ahead for all the indicators, I'm just going to use a bit of Vallejo Model Air Silver and just paint inside. Doesn't matter if it goes on the paint at all. And what we'll do, we'll get the lights in there then. Once they're glued in place, we'll remove the excess with a moistened cotton bud. By far the easiest way of doing lights. This is a water-based paint going over the 2K, so it has no effect at all, and it wipes off unbelievably easy. So we'll let that dry for half an hour or so, and then we can glue all our lights in place. Now the rear lights, like I explained last time, there's photo etch. So I've painted all the back of it black, and then popped all the photo etch in place. And then we'll get some clear X27, I think it's X26 clear orange, to paint the lights themselves. So I thought this was the easiest way of doing it. Part of the fun of modelling, and especially these Alpha Model kits, is figuring out how to do things. And these kits will certainly test your build process, because the instructions are not really instructions. They're kind of a very vague assembly guide. And you kind of got to sit there and figure out, right, how the hell do I do this? And for me, by far the easiest way. So a couple of dabs of clear on, let it go off, and then put another one on top. As long as you're careful with the micro brush, it'll stay on the PE. And it'll dry to a nice glossy clear red and orange colour. If you do get any on there at all, you can wipe it off, because it's water-based paint with alcohol. Just be very careful, because if you rub too hard, it will take the paint off. But it's a case, just build up nice and slow. As you can see, there's our yellow and red lights on the back. Happy with those. Like I say, if you want a bit more, add a little bit more. It's as simple as that, really. There we go. Once we're happy with that, we've got some Bob Smith's Gold, and I'm just applying it on some of the kind of raised, ridged areas of the lights, where we can get that light unit in place. Now, this rear light unit is probably the worst point of this car. It really doesn't fit well at all, so it's a real shame. It's a little bit too short, in my opinion. It could have been done with being a bit longer, so like a millimetre longer each end. But we'll go with the best of a worst situation, or a bad situation. We just get it centered, get it glued in place, hold it down, and just wipe off any excess CA glue quickly. With the Bob Smiths, if you're very quick, you can get excess off with no damage. I'm just going to sit and hold this for a few minutes until it grabs a hold. So there we go, there's the lights on. I put a little bit of tape on to hold it in place as well. Now the brake calipers and discs we're going to assemble. So obviously usually the larger discs go on the front with the larger calipers, so make sure you assemble them as per the guide in front of me there. So a little tiny dab of CA glue on top. Quick blow of warm air. CO2 in your breath helps dry CA glue. So what I'm doing is where the point is that we cut these off the paw plug is where I put the caliper. And that way you can't see it then. See? Work smarter, not harder. So a little bit too much CA glue there. There we go. So a little dab at the top, right where that paw stub was. Pop the caliper over the top. And there you go. You can't even see the problem anymore. And then again, a quick test fit. Make sure everything's fine. And then we can pop some CA glue on there and get them glued in place like that. There we go. Quick test fit of a wheel. And again, make sure you don't have glue on your fingers. And yeah, sits in perfectly. Sits in flush with the wheel arch. And the ride height looks about perfect as well. Same on the other side. We've already test fitted it. Now there is a locating point for the caliper. Make sure your calipers are facing the right direction. Some face forward, some face back. Use your references of either the instructions in front of you or the real car. Find real life pictures. And again, check the wheel fitment. Seems to be spot on. And then the same on the back as well. So good fitments on this kit, considering it's I think it's not one of the newest kits. It's not that old, but it goes together really well. Once you're happy with everything, we can commit to gluing the wheels in place. All four wheels are exactly the same on this, so there's no need to worry. So just make sure when you glue a wheel in that it's straight, it sits in the arch right, and it's not a weird toe in or toe out. There we go. You get a little bit of working time with the CA glue. If you're not confident with CA glue, use a water-based PVA glue because you can always get the wheel back off. But for me, I've fitted it enough, so I know that it's going to work. Now, these are the lights that go in all those little inserts we filled with Model Air Silver earlier on. So these have been painted exactly the same way we painted that PE. In fact, it was done exactly the same time. We just painted on the inside of them with some clear red and orange. And we're just going to figure out which way everything goes. This was supposed to be a test fit, but it fitted in there that well, it became a fifth fit. And there you go. So with that in place, it's held itself in. We can get a cotton bud and wipe off the excess silver. And there we go, job done. Same on the other side. Just pop it in place. Hold itself in there really nice and snug. Like so. And again, wipe off any excess silver. And this is the beauty of using a water-based paint. It makes your life so much easier. You can sit and mask everything off and spray it. But for me, it's a lot of work for something that works a lot easier doing it this way. Side indicators, again, pop them in place. There we go. They're a little bit tricky to get in, but they actually do fit in place really easily. There is one part of this kit I've been dreading the whole time, and it's that rear window. It's the rear window. We're going to come to it later. The curve on the window is so sharp. I know it's going to be a bit of a pig to do, but we'll get there. Headlights in, headlight lenses glued in place with some Tamiya craft bond. We've got the light lenses for the front as well, clear resin, and we're going to go around the outer edge with our Sharpie to imitate the seal. So go all the way around, just using the edge of the Sharpie to mark the edge of the plastic. Good fit on these windscreens. Good fit on these headlights. They fit in place really well. So I like to cut the excess off with my Zoron snips. And I found the best way to remove any excess resin is with a knife. I've used a sander many times. I think a knife gives a cleaner finish. So just very lightly over the top of where the paw stub's been. And it'll go super smooth. And then we can hit it with our Sharpie. And there we go, job done. I've sanded them before. I think sometimes sanding can reprofile them a little bit too much. I think the knife is a much simpler, easier way. A little bit of craft bond just in the corners out of the way. You don't need a lot of it at all. There we go. And then we can pop our light in. So use as little as you can, because it does dry clear, but you can see it if you put it in too thick. So it's a case of just pop it in place, push it fully home, and then you can get a moistened cotton bud and remove any excess. And then with them both in place, we just let them dry and leave them to one side. So really nice fit on the headlights. I'm just going to say this is definitely one of the best clear coats I've ever done. This car is absolutely beautiful. There's a little tiny mesh grille that goes on this intake on the right hand side of the car. Right hand from the driver's seat, I should stress. So again, I didn't lick that cotton bud. A little bit of craft bond in there, get the grill in, wipe off any excess. And the great thing about the craft bond, even if you don't wipe off the excess, it dries, it goes to like a rubbery consistency. And if you come back later on, it literally rolls off. It really does. It's really good glue. We've got some Bob Smiths now on all these carbon photo etch bits. These are especially tricky to glue in place, so you need to be very positive of where they're going and get them stuck in. So there's two little canards at the front and these two little winglets up the side that kind of go on an angle and sit on top of them. Very, very tricky to do. A little bit of a pain in the butt. But with perseverance and some careful positioning, they go in place quite well. Now, with the rear spoiler, we've got a little bit of CA glue again. And we get these little winglets in the end. And for some reason, this is all the footage I've got of assembling the spoiler. It ends right now. Bye. And there it goes. Gone. Side windows. So this is the part I've been dreading. Not for the front and the side, or the front and the sides. That rear one. So the side ones just fit in completely flat and straight. So I thought, you know what, we don't even need CA glue on this. We use a bit of Tamiya craft bond. So we're just applying a few strategic drops around the top, and then we'll spread all that out a little bit. Then in our usual manner, we've got our masking tape handle on there. Do not touch the back of this glass. There's a protective film on the front, this end now. Don't get a fingerprint on the back, or it'll be visible when you take the clear film off. And using that tape as a handle, you can get it all glued in place. Same for the other side. Exactly the same as before, we can remove any excess with a moistened cotton bud. So these Tamiya masking tape handles, yeah, definitely worth doing. Front screen, bit of Bob Smith Super Gold, the black lid. No real problems getting this in place. Yeah, just strategic placing of the CA glue. You don't want a lot, but you need enough in there for it to grab. Now, thankfully, not really a complex shape on the front screen. I'll show this in its entirety. I don't tend to leave a lot of this in because it kind of drags the footage out a little bit, but I know for a lot of people this is probably quite an important step for me to cover. Like I say, this front one, not too bad at all. Quite a normal shape windscreen. But it's a case of being positive in your actions. Don't be scared of it. And just get it in place. So the CA glue where we want it. We've already test fitted the glass so we know it fits. We've got our masking tape handle on the front. And we're going to just line it up with the top and the bottom. Got a couple of pointed cotton buds ready there. So we'll line it up at the top. Line it up at the bottom. And then we'll use our cotton bud to push it in place. And then this is where we become a human octopus. Hold the corners in. Then grab another one. And we'll burnish it down. So we're holding the corners in. Those bottom two corners are normally the most troublesome part on the windscreen. So I find just holding it to get it to glue and then burnish down on the other areas is the easiest and quickest way to do it. If you have any trouble with the edges, just very carefully lift it with a knife like this. And get a little tiny dab of glue underneath. And then just push it down and hold it. And the best thing you can do here is hold it and go do something mind-numbing. Like go to Facebook with your other hand on your phone and scroll through Facebook for 5 minutes or answer a message, whatever. Look for a cookery recipe, anything at all. And just leave it be. and let it go. The Bob Smiths does take a while to grab, but it's non-fogging and it doesn't melt the plastic. So yeah, this is the time to sit and do something monotonous just while you're holding it. And yes, I have left this bit of footage in just to show what it's doing. Right now, I'm looking at the stock exchange to see how my stocks are doing. If you believe that, you believe anything. The rear one. Now this one is an absolute pig. This is by far the most complex shaped one I've ever put in. And instructions call for adding heat, and heat does absolutely nothing at all. I tried the heat thing, it does nothing. So I thought, right, okay, let's have a think about this one. So I thought I'd glue the centers in first. So I glued the top and the bottom centers in first. So Bob Smith's Gold, as per usual, just spread out nicely. There's not going to be any real pressure on this, so we don't need tons of blobs of glue. And we can just spread it all out. And I thought I'll get the middle section in place, get it glued in, leave it alone for a bit so I know it's totally secure. And then we'll deal with the edges. And I did kind of have a bit of a plan in my head, although it was a bit risky because I've never done it before. So we get the top in, line it all up, we get the bottom in, and again I've test fitted this, you just see me test fit it. I've got a little bit of glue there on that back, so I'm just going to wipe it off quickly. There we go, and then we'll burnish the edges down. And because there's no pressure, this thing just kind of glues itself. So I'm just going to push it down to get the glue all in place. Like so, top and the bottom. And we're going to leave that for about 20 minutes and make sure that glue is fully dried. Now, for the edge of the back, we're now putting CA glue underneath the glass very carefully around the window seal itself. And I thought, right, so what I'll do is I'll add the glue just like normal, spread it out. So just getting enough of it down to know that it's going to hold it. The main point is literally that point where it's going to sit. That is the area I need to get it to glue the most. So I'm just wiping off any excess glue. I've then got a little bit of CA Kicker, the tiniest bit, and I'm just running it on the very outside inner edge of the glass and then pushing it down and just holding it. Hold and hold and hold and praying that the kicker grabs that glue instantly. Now I put very little down. It's almost like the vapors of the kicker. Very tiny amount. And I thought if I just get this on and just hold it and hold it and hold it and then burnish the edges down as I hold it, hopefully it'll grab. And it did. It worked really, really well. So if you're very gentle with very little kicker right on the edge of the glass, as you'll see here, yeah, I'm terrified of letting it go because if it pops up, it's going to cause a nightmare. And there we go. That side's on. Same for the other side, and we're done. So there you go. A little bit of kicker saves the day. Now, the most satisfying part, I always say this, is pulling this off. Also terrifying, thinking, for God's sake, don't pull that rear window out. So very gently, pulling the tape back on itself, we can remove the film. So get a knife under the very edge and then very gently peel it back. And then this one, absolutely bricking it with this, thinking, for God's sake, don't pull it off. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. There we go. Whew. It's still in place. And a quick rub down. And look at that rear window. Absolutely perfect. And I mean perfect. And this is such a bend in this window. You can't see it until it's side on. And you appreciate how deep it actually is. Now, we've just become stockists of Zoom On products over a pro scale. So I thought, right, let's try some of these Japanese number plates. And these things are epic. So you get, in the set, you get decals of the number plates. And you get a matching photo-etched, embossed number plate. So you put the embossed P down first. And then put the decal, which matches the embossing over the top. And it gives a 3D stamped number plate effect. They are absolutely fantastic. And I love this one with the rising sun on. I think it is brilliant. And yeah, suits the car perfectly. Now, we've got a little bit of CA glue on the side again. Thankfully, this was just a little streak. Nothing detrimental. So it didn't need anything at all. Just a quick wipe off some debonder. And then we've got all these really awkward rivets to pop in place. So I thought the easiest way of doing these, the cleanest way, is using some craft bond. So I'm just putting some in all the holes, and we'll get the rivets in place and wipe off the excess as we go. Now these rivets are absolutely tiny. They are minute. So it's a case of just getting it in place. I've got my optivisor on here. It didn't lick that cotton bud. Wipe off the excess. And there we go. Like I say, don't be worried about getting it all off. I've zoomed in a bit so you can see this one. So we've left some silver, and as you see, I'm just pushing it in place like so. And there we go. That is those done. And then we get a moistened cotton bud, which I definitely did not lick. We can go around and wipe off all the glue. Like I say, even if it dries on there, it will all wipe off later. No problem at all. Rear spoiler support are going in place. Now these were all checked to fit before we even went to paint. And we're going to get a little bit of Bob Smith's. Put it in the hole and edging ever so close to that glue with that model there. A little bit of that, and then get the spoiler support in. Make sure it's straight. Now, the great thing about the Bob Smiths is you do get a little bit of working time. It does take a while to dry. So there we go, making sure they're all straight. And then we can get our spoiler in place, which we built up earlier. So a quick test fit to see how it sits. Sits absolutely beautiful. The spoiler supports are perfectly straight. So a little bit of Bob Smiths on the top of each support. We don't need a lot at all. Just going to run a little bead all along it like so. And then with a careful, quick placement, we're going to get it in place perfectly first time. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Definitely needs a bigger spoiler, this thing, though. It's not big enough at all. There we go. That's that. Next up is the wing mirrors. So about now I've realised I've lost the wing mirrors. I don't know where the hell they've gone. I must have thrown them out. I searched high and low. I did have some scale production, and I even had some zoom on ones as well. But they just did not suit the car. Now, going through a spares box, you can see I keep everything. I've got spare seats, steering wheels, brakes, everything in here from all the kits I built over the years. And there was a set in here that were absolutely perfect for this car. I've got no idea what they were off, but I had a pair of them, and all they needed doing was the back of them sanding flat to get them to fit. So I was like, yep, these are absolutely perfect for this. So this is why it pays to keep all your spares. So I've got everything in there. Spoilers, lights, steering wheel, seats, the lot. So quick test fit. They are the perfect size. Literally the perfect size. And all I need to do is just flatten the back. There's like a little ridge on the back. So a 220 UMP thinny stick. Actually, that's the bigger sander, isn't it? It's a 220 larger sander. Flatten the back and then paint them in. I went for Mr. Surface of 1500 black. So it was like a matte black. And a quick test fit. Ensured they fitted just fine. And then a little bit of Bob Smith's. There we go. They look almost factory. Very happy with these. Would they look better in red? I don't know. I kind of like the black, if I'm honest. There's a lot of black on this car. Could I carbon them? Probably. But I kind of like the matte black look. I kind of think it suits the car. So, yeah, a good save there, thankfully, while it pays for keeping all your spares. Photo etch window wipers, these are the bane of my life, these things. I hate them. I don't mind building them. I'll build them all day long. They're a piece of cake to build. I used to hate building them. Now I hate fitting them because they're just a nightmare to fit. Luckily on this one, not too bad. A little dab of normal CA glue and into the scuttle, and it holds itself in pretty well. So not too bad at all. And then we've got the Mazda. I think they're not actually Mazda badges of these. I don't know what they are. Are they Infinity? I can't remember what they are now. Like a metallic badge. Water slide. So just get it all in place. Get all the moisture out from behind it and burnish it down. There we go. We've got one on the back as well. Gotta say, I love that number plate. Absolutely brilliant. Really nice touch. So we do Canadian, American, and Japanese at the minute. There are some British ones, but they're out of stock at the minute. Loads of Zoom on products on our site. Go on over and have a look at all body kits. You're going to see the Honda NSX I'm going to build coming up soon. That's got a little trans kit with it to turn to a Type R. So yeah, really good stuff. And there we go. That's it. We're done. So the final touch is give it a UMP shine, polish up. So spray the shine onto a cloth, put it on the body, let it haze up and give it a polish up. But just look how beautiful that is. That red paint, I'm so glad I changed that colour. I really am. The blue was a lovely, lovely colour. Don't get me wrong. I just think the red really shows his body shape better. And this colour absolutely pops. It's such a vibrant red. Beautiful 2K job that's been absolutely perfectly polished. The gold wheels look fantastic. I think the red seat inside is a really nice touch. Thanks for whoever gave me that idea. And all the carbon work. Yeah, I think it just all ties it together as a great looking car. I'm very happy with this one. Not my normal subject. I do like this RX-7. But the JDM stuff isn't really my thing. And yeah, I'm on my third build. We've got this that's finished. We've got the Nissan R33400R I've literally just finished that you're going to see next. And I've got a old Honda NSX which I'm building as a Type R. But just look at that paint, how deep that red is. Absolutely beautiful. So very happy with this one. This is build, my God, I'm losing track now. Is it build number 4 of the year already? I think we're on. I know one thing, I'm slowly running out of steam for resin kits. I need to build some plastic. Look at that. Look at the shape of that window. You can see just how curved that is. Absolutely beautiful. The paintwork on this, absolutely fantastic. Really happy with the paint job on this. She's turned out absolutely beautiful. And yeah, great kit. Beautiful colour. Beautiful clear coat. And a great car as well. I do like these old RX-7s, they are very cool. So there we go, some pictures now, some final pictures. So, I've got to try and remember what we've done here now. So this was primed in Tamiya pink primer, painted in Mazda Blaze red, and we gave it a dark grey Tamiya panel line wash. It was Pro Scale Paints 2K cleared. The interior is a mix of black grey leather paint from Pro Scale, anthracite flocker from Pro Scale, and I used Brembo red on the seats. We added a Edward photo etch set of seat belts to it as well. The wheels are done in Pro Scale antique gold. We've used the carbon trim on the exterior from the kit, except the rear valance, which is the zoom on carbon fibre from our site as well. And that's it. Just a really enjoyable kit. My first entry into the JDM build. And it just came out really well. Really happy with the paint job. I'm really glad I changed the paint colour. The blue would have looked fantastic. I think the red suits this car so much better. And I am glad that I stripped this and started again. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that build as much for me. Well, as me. Like I say, Nissan R33400R next. And then Honda NSX Type R after that. So let's go back to me. So there we go, all done. Very happy with this one. Absolutely beautiful paint job on it. Definitely one of my best clear coats. The combination of Pro Scale paints, that deep red, that Mazda deep red, blaze red, absolutely stunning. 2K from Pro Scale, doing the business again. And those Menzerna compounds and the polish and sponges from Zoom On. Absolutely brilliant. Really good. So very happy with the result. This display case is getting full. I think I've got room for about 2 more builds, and that's it. It's full. I'm going to have to sell some of them. I'm just going to have to stick them on eBay, I think, bite the bullet and get rid of them cheap. Because otherwise I've got nowhere to display built models, which is a bit of a pain in the backside if you ask me. But just one of those things. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that build. Like I say, JDM build's ongoing. We've got the 400R Nissan next from Hobby Design. After that, I'm taking a break from resin kits for a while. I've built so many lately that I'm kind of getting, not burnt out, but I'm just getting a bit fed up with the build process. So, got a few of the kits I want to do. The Type R NSX is underway. That's already painted up, ready to be started, all the interior and the running gear. So that's an interesting one. And then we've got something American coming up in a very nice colour. But you have to wait to see that one. Alright? So there we go. So as always, thanks for watching. Again, if you want early access to these videos, you can become a patron down below. There's a link in the description. Get early access to the videos by over a month. Get a Saturday Patreon bench update every week that's like half an hour long every single week. Bit more in depth on what I've been up to that week, showing purchases, a bit of chat, a bit of news, and what have you. There's also a Facebook exclusive messenger group chat you can get added to as well. There's like 70 of us in there. Good fun community to be a part of. And there's a Facebook supporter group as well where you can post your work completely in private, just with us supporters. And you also keep me being able to do these videos. Well, there's patron support. I couldn't quit doing this as a job. So thank you for anyone and everyone that has become a patron or thinking of becoming one. You can cancel at any time. So just come over, have a look. If it's not for you, you can cancel. If you want to stick around, you can. There we go. Down below, there's also a PayPal me and a Buy Me a Coffee link as well if you want to do a one-off donation. And down there, there's links to everything associated with everything I do. All the social medias there. Pro Scale Painters there, UMP Retails there. There's an email address to get in touch with me if you want to contact me directly. There's links to my scale mates, you can have a look through my stash. There's links to all the products I use, all down there in a big list and in my Amazon store as well. You can go look in there. And that's it. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And a huge thanks to all my patrons whose name's going to flash up at the end of this video. And if you're new here, or even if you're not, make sure you sub to the channel. Click that thumb or up or down, whichever one you prefer, and hit that bell notifications to get notified of all the latest videos. And please leave a comment. Love reading your feedback on the videos. Might not reply to you all because I have so much to go through, but I do read and appreciate every single comment. So let me know what you thought of the build. Have you built the kit? Have you got it? Are you thinking of getting it? I think it's our production, this one now. And do you fancy coming and joining in with our JDM group build? There we go. We don't want to do the JDM on the 1st of March in just over 9 or 10 days. There's a hypercar supercar build starting. Any hypercar supercar, you can come over there and join us with that. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that build series. I will catch you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.